social media channel. Yeah, here I'm saying that social media channel. Yeah, here I'm saying that social media channel. Yeah, here I'm saying that social media channel. hear him say that he's going to move their chair.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and may I take this opportunity to welcome you to Royal Holloway. This ceremony is being filmed, and the edited video will be made available to download in February 2020. Please could you ensure that all mobile phones, pagers, tablets, and digital watches are either turned off or turned on to silent. In the unlikely event of an emergency, and should we need to evacuate the building, guests should leave by the nearest available exit. Guests requiring assistance will be escorted. Once you have left the venue, please follow the directions of the stewards who will guide you to the nearest assembly point. The ceremony will commence shortly, and we ask that you do not leave the venue once the ceremony has begun. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the arrival of the Principal's procession.
Please take your seats. Distinguished guests, parents, friends, and above all, graduates, on behalf of Royal Holloway, I'm delighted to welcome you here on this very auspicious occasion, our graduation ceremony. Indeed, it's lovely to see so many people here to share this very special event with us. If, as a guest, you are here for the first time at college, or if you are returning to a place that has now become familiar. In every case, you are very welcome. And to our graduates in particular, we trust you will have a truly wonderful and memorable day. To all of you, we extend a very warm greeting. During this morning's ceremony, graduates from the School of Life Sciences and the Environment will be presented. Graduates from the Department of Biological Sciences, the Department of Geography, and the Department of Psychology, all of whom will be presented to the Principal, Professor Paul Lazell. The first group of students will be awarded a master's degree. These students will have studied at postgraduate level for at least a year. They will have taken their studies to the boundaries of existing knowledge in their academic field, or they will have studied in an area of professional or occupational theory and practice at a high level. They will be followed by graduates who will be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Medicine, or a professional doctorate in clinical psychology. Each of their research investigations has made an original contribution to knowledge through the discovery of new facts or ideas and the exercise of independent critical judgment. Before we begin, I just need to ask you please to remain in your seats for the duration of the ceremony. Should you wish to follow the order of graduands, you may do so as it's set out for you in the graduation programme. So let us begin. I call upon the head of School of Life Sciences and the Environment, Professor Tamar Pincus.
Good morning. Today, we recognise and celebrate the achievements of our students who have followed postgraduate programmes with departments in the School of Life Sciences and the Environment. Biological sciences, geography, and psychology have consistently been ranked amongst the top departments in the UK for a number of years, combining research excellence, inspirational teaching programmes, and collaborations with partners beyond the university. Postgraduate students whose achievements we celebrate today are one of the main reasons why the department rank so highly. Their studies have spanned the department's research centres focused on digital supply chains and logistics, gene therapy, industrial biotech, pollination ecology, climate and environmental change, global development and geopolitics, sustainability, and the relationship between place and identity. The doctorate in clinical psychology produces professionals who will directly impact on the growing mental health problems in the world around us. They all graduate equipped with the knowledge and skills not only to study the world, but to change it for the better. And now, with the great pleasure that we move to the presentations of graduates.
So I call upon Professor Vincent Janssen from the Department of Biological Sciences.
Principal, I would like to present graduates from the Department of Biological Sciences. For the award of Master of Science degrees in Biological Sciences by Research. Spatial behavior of wild primates using the large-headed capuchin Sapuius macrocephalus as a model, supervised by Dr. Sarah Pepworth, Chloe Metcalf. Germination and dormancy in the seeds of Pastinaca sativa and Daucus carota under various environmental conditions. Supervised by Professor Gerard Leubner, Blaise Soper. For the award of Doctor of Philosophy degrees in Biology. For the award of Doctor of Medicine degrees in Biological Sciences, wrong card. Myocardial deformation imaging and prognostication in acute heart failure, supervised by Professor Pankaj Sharma and Dr. Aigul Atabeeva, Jack Stewart. For the award of Doctor of Philosophy degrees in Biology. Urban bees, reproductive success, colony health, foraging in an anthropogenic environment. Supervised by Professor Ellie Ledbeater and Dr. Richard Gill, Ash Samuels. The potential impact of sulfoxaflor on bumblebees, supervised by Professor Ellie Ledbeater and Professor Mark Brown, Harry Siviter. That concludes the presentation of graduates from the Department of Biological Sciences at this ceremony.
Next, I call upon Professor Philip Krang from the Department of Geography.
Principal, I would like to present graduates from the Department of Geography. For the award of Masters of Arts degrees in Cultural Geography, Emma Christian. Eleanor Cooper. Rhys Gazaire de Baradieu. Matthew Phillips. Megan Zarilli. For the award of Master of Science degrees in Geopolitics and Security, Chloe Bird. Winner of the Best Dissertation Prize, Jack Morton. For the award of Master of Science degrees in Quaternary Science, George Biddulph. Thomas Brodie. Atul Cyril. Bronte Giles. Hayley Hawkins. Joseph Hurst. Hazel Mosley. William Pearson. Freya Pinks. Rhiannon Quinn. Matthew Richmond. Aidan Stokes. Recipient of the Philippa Holmes Prize for the Best Dissertation in the field of sedimentology and stratigraphy, and the Ed Derbyshire Award for the highest ranked student, Rebecca Taylor. Madeline Timmins. For the award of Master of Science degrees in Sustainability and Management, Adebola Coker. Imogen Fanning. Christopher Gray. Alexander Hayes. Kimran Jahal. Helen Jost. Corinne Julie. Ayumi Naoyi. Tyra Jade Newman. Ronya Tangle. Jacob Wilkinson. For the award of Doctor of Philosophy degrees in Geography, for a thesis entitled The Entangled Anthropocene, Creative Experiments with Thready Geographies, supervised by Professor Harriet Hawkins, Miriam Burke. For a thesis entitled Slow Emergency and the Contested Politics of Loyalty, reinterpreting the territorial dimension of the Falkland Malvinas Islands prior to the 1982 conflict, supervised by Professor Klaus Dodds at Royal Holloway and Dr. Alistair Pinkerton at Royal Holloway, Alan Max Hull. For a thesis entitled Ceremonies of Possession, Performing Sovereignty in the Canadian Arctic, supervised by Professor Klaus Dodds at Royal Holloway and Dr. Philip Hatfield at the British Library, Rosanna White. That concludes the presentation of graduates from the Department of Geography at this ceremony.
Right, well, we'll pause briefly from the presentation of graduates to invite the choir of Royal Holloway, which will perform for us two pieces, namely Come Shepherds Follow Me and My Sweetheart's Like Venus.
Come,
So, to continue with the procession of graduates, I call upon Professor Andy MacLeod from the Department of Psychology.
Principal, I would like to present graduates from the Department of Psychology for the award of Doctorate in Clinical Psychology degrees. With the thesis title, Understanding the Process of Change During an Attachment-Based Intervention with Parents with Intellectual Disabilities, supervised by Dr. Kate Theodore, Dr. Claire Buki-Webster, and Paula Correda-Lopez, Hannah Al-Ghali. With the thesis, Responsibility Beliefs, Threat, and Paranoia, supervised by Dr. Olga Luthon and Dr. Lynn Ellett, Azadi Azimi Azad. With the thesis, Mindfulness, Values, and Non-Clinical Paranoia, supervised by Dr. Jess Kingston and Dr. Michelle Taylor, Lauren Becker. With the thesis, Psychotic-like Experiences in Perinatal Women, the Role of Psychological Distress and Cognitive Biases, supervised by Dr. Olga Luthon, Katie Bovis. With the thesis, Evaluation of a Self-Help Intervention for Improving Well-Being and Reducing Depression in a Sample of People with MS, supervised by Professor Andy MacLeod, Emma Britneff. With the thesis, Feasibility of a Psychological Group Intervention to Improve Parental Reflective Functioning and Bonding in Pregnancy, a randomized trial, supervised by Dr. Alana James and Dr. Crispin Day, Hannah Cox. With the thesis, Values and Goals in Non-Clinical Paranoia, supervised by Dr. Michelle Taylor and Dr. Jess Kingston, Megan Davis. With the thesis, Effect of Risk Propensity on Treatment Understanding and Decisions in MS Patients, supervised by Professor Dawn Langdon, Elizabeth Donaghy. With the thesis, An Evaluation of Mental Health Literacy and its Measurement in Students, supervised by Professor Helen Pote and Dr. Camilla Rosan, Emily Fulcher. With the thesis, Passive and Active Facebook Use in Adolescents, Impact on Mood Depending on Level of Social Anxiety, supervised by Dr. Dawn Watling, Deborah Jagger. With the thesis, The Influence of Culture and socio-economic status on the mandatory reporting of female genital mutilation by health and social care professionals and teachers, supervised by Dr. Jane Vosper and Dr. Lee Mei Liao. Fatoumata Jatta. For the thesis, The Lived Experience of Barriers to Self-Compassion in Women Experiencing Weight Difficulties, supervised by Dr. Afsane Riazi, Anna Yezoriak-Vojny. For the thesis, The Sequelae of Childhood Maltreatment, a multi-level investigation of structure, symptomatology, and social support, supervised by Dr. Kat Sebastian, Philip Kelly. With the thesis, Developing a Model of Living with HIV in Individuals with Personality-Related Difficulties, supervised by Dr. Michael Evangeli and Caroline Coffey, Eva Emma Larsson. With the thesis, The Relationship Between Onward Disclosure and Agentic and Communal Values in Young Adults with Perinatally Acquired HIV, supervised by Dr. Michael Evangeli, Georgina Lehman. For the thesis, The Effect of Positive and Negative Future Thinking on Immediate, Hedonic, and Eudaimonic Well-Being, supervised by Professor Andy MacLeod, Natalie de Guise Lopez. For the thesis, Professional Carer Experiences of Implementing Positive Behaviour Support for Adults with Intellectual Disabilities, supervised by Dr. Kate Theodore, Dr. Karen Dodd, and Dr. Ines Mendez, Jessica Matcham. For the thesis, Deepening Extinction in a Virtual Reality Treatment for Fear of Heights, supervised by Dr. Gary Brown and Professor Daniel Freeman, Josephine McInerney. For the thesis, Is there a relationship between maladaptive schemas and functional neurological disorders, supervised by Dr. Alex Falk and Dr. Nick Medford, Toby Newson. For the thesis, The Mechanisms of Imagery Rescripting for Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder in Asylum Seekers and Refugees, supervised by Dr. Gary Brown, Dr. Hannah Murray, and Dr. Sharif El-Lithi, Barbara Novakova. For the thesis, Evaluating the Effectiveness of Face-to-Face and Digital Training for Improving Child Mental Health Literacy Rates in Frontline Pediatric Hospital Staff, supervised by Professor Helen Pote and Professor Ros Shafran, Jennifer O'Connell. For the thesis, Camouflaging in Autism, an individualistic strategy in response to a stigmatized social identity, supervised by Dr. Ailey Cage and Dr. Will Mandy. Ella Perry. For the thesis, You're Changing the Pattern, using cognitive analytic team formulation to help care staff working with people with intellectual disabilities understand and manage challenging behaviour. Supervised by Dr. Kate Theodore and Julie Lloyd, Rowena Russell. For the thesis, Evaluating the Efficacy, a mental health first aid training tool for secondary school teachers, supervised by Professor Helen Pote and Anna Picciotto, Tessa Saunders. That concludes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't conclude. A values-based intervention for clients with acquired brain injury within inpatient neurorehabilitation, supervised by Dr. Chess Kingston and Richard Irwin. Serena Sharma. For the thesis, Cognitive and Interpersonal Predictors and Moderators of Treatment Outcomes in Psychological Therapy for Depression, supervised by Dr. Gary Brown and John Wheatley, Iona Symington. For the thesis, Developing a Model of the Individual and Social Processes Involved with Living with HIV and TB in UK Migrants, supervised by Dr. Michael Evangeli and Stuart Gibson, Yvonne Whelan. For the thesis, Experiences of Autistic Adults, Gender Identity, Mental Health and Access to Psychological Services, supervised by Dr. Ailey Cage, Kate Whitaker. That does conclude the presentation of graduates from the Department of Psychology at this ceremony.
And that concludes the presentation of all graduates at this ceremony. So now the principal will make a closing address.
So to our graduates, I'd like to add my welcome to this ceremony, which we celebrate your achievements as the graduating class of 2019. Graduation marks the end of your current studies, allowing time to reflect and celebrate with fellow graduates, staff, family and friends, and it starts the transition into a new stage of your life. We're all honoured to join you today, and I hope that your new degree will lead you on a career path that is enjoyable and rewarding. This landmark day is part of an educational journey that started long before you joined Royal Holloway. For gaining a place required you to have exceptionally high levels of academic performance. Whilst at Royal Holloway, you've worked with staff who are leaders in their field and in departments that have a global reputation. The nature of your study at postgraduate level has required you to understand and synthesize a wide body of knowledge. Through dissertations and theses, you've tested and critiqued that knowledge that knowledge to gain new insights and to extend it, to create new ideas and understanding that now equip you for the challenges ahead. Now, in getting to this point, you will have been supported by parents, families and friends, and so I'm delighted to welcome you to Royal Holloway today, whether you're from the UK or from one of the 120 countries represented by our international student community. I'm sure you are as proud of our graduates as they are grateful to you for the support and encouragement that you've given to them. So on their behalf, I'd like to thank you for the difference that you've made to them during their studies, and I'd encourage you to be proud of your contribution too as we celebrate their achievements today. And I'm sure our graduating class would like to join with me in expressing our thanks to your support. Now, as well as the support of your family and friends, your achievements as graduates have been made possible by your teachers, for whom today is special, and many of them are here now. Academic colleagues have taught, guided and supervised you to become another generation of thoughtful, capable and ambitious Royal Holloway graduates. You've benefited from learning alongside world-leading researchers and teachers whose own achievements were, I'm sure, part of the attraction in coming to this university. The range of work undertaken by our staff is truly inspiring, a snapshot of which we heard from the head of school in her introduction. And there's more in the graduation programme, featuring protection of bees, supporting patients with drug-resistant epilepsy, creating novel and award-winning films, using digital media and virtual reality in storytelling and enhancing audience engagement, and developing new superconducting quantum devices. This work and many other activities help to improve the quality of your classes and supervision, ably assisted by a wide range of technical support staff. But ultimately, it is your hard work and dedication that has enabled you to succeed. Now, while some of you have taken degrees to continue an academic or research career, most of you have taken programs to develop higher level skills and knowledge that will equip you to work in a chosen profession. In a highly competitive global employment market, your new degree will help mark you out from the crowd, and I encourage you to be proud of your achievements. Now, those achievements and those of our academics are all the more impressive as they are not entirely self-judged but confirmed by others. For example, this year, your university has risen over successive years to become a top 20 UK university in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide. And thanks to the global community that you and our staff represent, we're also one of the most international universities in the UK. The government has also recognised the quality of the research work undertaken by our staff here at Royal Holloway, with over 81% of that work classified as world-leading or internationally excellent, a measure that directly impacts your experience as postgraduate students. But such success shouldn't make us complacent. We recognise that investment is vital if we are to continue to offer world-class teaching and research. Some of you will have benefited from past investments in teaching and research spaces, as well as library, study and social spaces. Together with the recent opening of a new science building, we've completed a £160 million investment programme designed to improve your educational experience, and we're planning the next series of upgrades. Some of you will have also benefited from the investment made by former students and supporters of the university. Just last month, in an intense week-long competition, they raised over £115,000 through generous donations and matched funding from the Reed Foundation. Through the generosity of former donors, some of you will have received financial support or scholarships that will have helped you in your studies. Now, through our investment and the support of our donors, your university will continue to grow and develop, and we'll keep you informed of our progress through regular newsletters, which we'll send to you as members of our Alumni Association. The association plays an important role in continuing your links with our networking events to help you develop your professional career ahead, as well as reunions and informal get-togethers. It also provides you an opportunity for you to give us your news, so do keep us informed so that we can continue to celebrate your success. So as we now conclude the formal part of today's graduation, let me just once again reflect on your tremendous achievements. Your degree certificates are a testament of hard work, intellectual capacity and perseverance. But as you now leave this place, those certificates are also testaments of future potential. While celebrating what has been achieved, it's important that each of you now considers what you are yet to achieve. The past is a vital ingredient in making you the person you are, but it's what you do next that will define you. Many of you have already started full-time employment. Others will be undertaking a period of voluntary or humanitarian work. Some of you may be taking a break and others continuing your studies. Whatever your next steps, I and all the university staff wish you every success in your chosen endeavour. Thank you.
All that remains for me to do is to say I hope you have enjoyed this morning's ceremony. May I ask you please just to remain here in the venue until the procession has left the auditorium. When you leave, you'll be directed to the Founders Dining Hall in the Founders Building for our reception. Finally, again, can I simply extend my thanks to you for attending this very special event. So please rise for the procession.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay in your seats while the graduates leave the auditorium. Once the graduates have left, please follow them over to the reception in the Founders Building. Thank you.